Coming up on Patriots This Week. 'Tis the season for a Charles Dickens classic. And after one half, it was the best of times in Foxborough. Yet this was a tale of two halves, and the worst of times would come in the second.
He's rolling right. He's going to throw it to Knox. It's an easy touchdown. The Bills strike first in the second half.
You know, they were able to go in at halftime and make corrections and come out and execute. And we got to be better.
After dominating the first half, the Patriots were dominated in the second, surrendering a 21-point lead.
It sucks to lose. We all hate to lose. Yeah, it's a wake-up call.
We just got to be better when we're up. It starts with me making some throws.
Now Lamar Jackson and the Ravens try to play Ebenezer Scrooge to the Patriots season.
We're all going to look at ourselves in the mirror and what we can do to get better and get better fast.
Now it's Patriots This Week.
Well, the Patriots' showdown with the Buffalo Bills was a tale of two halves. The Pats with a 24-7 lead at the break. The Bills emerge with the victory over New England to stay alive in the AFC East race. Hi, everybody. Welcome to Patriots This Week. I'm Bob Socci with my partner from 98.5, the Sports Hub, Scott Zolak, and Brian Hoyer. Both guys watched that game, saw the Pats get off to that blazing start. Big day, of course, for Travion Henderson. 2 long touchdown runs. The Bills struggling offensively early. What happened last Sunday?
Well, learn my lesson. Don't get too excited when you're up 21-0. I am so glad I'm off Twitter, because guess where all the Twitter hate goes? To this guy right here. Sorry about that, pal.
A lot of muted Bills Mafia.
Was there not one person that thought when they're up 21-0 and you're doing basically anything you want to do in that first half that the tide has turned, it's the Patriots' chance in the division now? And I got to give Buffalo a lot of credit. I think there's a couple things here, guys, to really look at. The line of scrimmage, they dominated in the second half. You, from a special teams perspective, were the first time we saw them this week not buttoned up. Yeah. You can't give Josh Allen short fields over the 50. A 58-yard return to start the second half, and them scoring started the uh-ohs with us in our booth. I think New England can take more from this game than Buffalo can, because Buffalo is what they are. They're that animal. And that's a hell of a quarterback that you faced, and that's why he's the MVP. Like Mike said, that's why you pay him $60 million. I think you could fix some things offensively. You go back to the drawing board, get creative again. Don't let what happened at the end of that game. Josh is too good for that. The quarterback we have is too good for that. Find a way to get Diggs open. They got to move him and get him the ball. Find a way to get Hunter Henry the ball better in those situations. Defensively, I think you're down a lot of bullets. I think injuries are catching up with you. And letting go of the rope there a little bit. You've got to get guys back.
You know, there were plenty of times when Sean McDermott's defense, even in Patriots wins, gave Tom Brady a lot of problems recognizing what they were doing post-snap. What did they do to Drake May and also his receivers in reading the coverage?
When I went back and watched the film, there was breadcrumbs of what the Bills offense was going to do in the second half in that first half. Look at the first play of the game. I mean, Cookie bobbles that ball. It's going to be a 40-yard pass right out the gate by Josh Allen. There was a few other plays. They were able to contain him a little bit more in the pocket. They get the big sack, put him out of field goal range. And so you're feeling pretty good about it, right? Well, what they did in that drive before the half, they continued to do in the second half.
They had been struggling against the run since week 9. And so you look at the comeback Bills matchups with the Patriots in favorable areas. Yeah. The tight ends trying to cover them, the run game, the offensive line against the Pats D-line, and red zone offense for Buffalo versus red zone defense for the Pats.
Yeah, and you hit on it too, like the field position. I mean, you look at Josh Allen's stats. He didn't throw for 300. He only had to throw for about 180 because he wasn't going that far. He wasn't having to drive, the length of the field. When I watched the film, they played a lot of man and a lot of two-man.
A lot of two-man, dropping 7, rushing 4.
Right.
That's what I saw in the second half.
And that's hard because two-man, which is something that you kind of, it's a risk when you have a guy who can run. And Drake hit him one time with the run, and there was another time where he hit Diggs on the middle. Though. They were, and so this is a coverage that they're not really familiar with playing, so you're not really prepared for it. And two-man takes away the inside of the field, and it takes away the deep part of the field. 2 of the areas where Drake has been at his best, and they weren't able to get a lot of what they had been going before. And look, you only have 19 plays in the second half. You can't get a rhythm, and the one drive that they sustained, it ends up being pushed back because of penalties.
I noted the runs by Henderson, but Ramondre Stevenson got off to a good start. He set the tone. First play of the game, 12-yard gain for him. Patriots with over 240 yards rushing. They didn't run the ball a lot in the second half, but they didn't have the chance to, really. They never really.
They got no flow in the second half.
There's no flow in the second half. Did you expect more play action from them in the game.
Well, so I was going to say this. I've seen, you're off Twitter, but I've seen the comments on Twitter. Why didn't they play action? The second play of the second half was a boot, a play-action boot. Bosa comes up the field. He smashes Hunter Henry into Drake's lap. He can't get anything on it. Diggs has to slide for the catch. So it's not that they didn't. I just think offensively, it's like, man, everything worked in the first half. Are we going to change? No, we'll keep doing it. And then all of a sudden, Buffalo scoring back to back to back. You can't get anything going. You're right. It was a tale of two halves, and kind of what the Patriots offense did in the first half, the Bills offense did in the second half, and they never really got into rhythm and got anything going.
What are the key takeaways for them? I mean, you could talk about personnel who was out of the lineup, but what can they do in act against Baltimore and going forward the final 3 games of the season?
If you got issues on kick coverage now, I think you change personnel. You get other guys out there that are going to listen to what we want to do and how we're going to squeeze things, and that's discipline.
And they let a linebacker go this week.
And you say, yeah, exactly. And then you pick up a guy that's a former third rounder off the Colts, you bring him in, and you're elevating guys that really aren't part of your program. That's where it gets the scary part of this year, because it's go time right now. You've got to respond. National television, everybody's going to be watching you. Take it for what it's worth. Go out there and play hard on Sunday night, because I think when they play hard, they protect the football and play discipline. Discipline's not covering kicks that way. And discipline's not punching a guy in the mouth on your own sideline where, hey, that could have been 15 yards another way. You could have been on a plus 35. Right. Instead, it's nullified because they call an offsetting foul.
You still have to learn how to win those difficult games, and I think that comes down to discipline. There was certain plays, you mentioned on a few of them, but there was one particular on the touchdown pass that Allen threw going away from the lighthouse. They got the holding penalty, got pushed back. And then there's no edge to the defense. You let the best scrambling quarterback out to the right side. To me, that's a lack of discipline. They had it in the first half, but when you're in that game and you're fighting and you're going toe-to-toe with a division rival, you have to be disciplined for all 60 minutes. So I think they can learn from that. I think they have to learn how to win those close games, and that's by having that competitive stamina, doing it right for 60 minutes.
Mike Vrabel has really worked on the psychology of his players, it seems, all season long to build their confidence. And right away, they go into the tunnel toward the locker room, and he's down there. Yeah. And he's down there shaking their hands, patting them on the back. Hey, guys, it's the NFL. This is going to happen. Right away, trying to address the potential of losing confidence in themselves.
It's already gravy for this team. I mean, I know they don't want to hear it. You don't want to talk about that. But the fact they're at 11 wins, they were 11-2 going into this game with the number 1 seed. They're so far ahead of where you need to be.
On the subject of Drake, they used his legs twice in the red zone. 2 touchdown runs for him.
I mean, it's what we talked about last week in the bye week. Like, can you add a little something that you haven't shown this year? That's why I was. That's why everyone was
4 or 5
excited.
new plays we haven't seen already.
Right, and I think that you wait for that moment. All right, this is the biggest game of the year. That was the biggest game of the year. What can we do a little bit differently? There was even a little razzle dazzle, the fake toss, throw it back to Drake. I know we've seen that before, but the first 2 touchdowns. One, they're playing man coverage. What do? You call a zone read with the lead blocker. Touchdown by Drake. Get him in empty. And what I loved about that play. Yeah, it's a draw play, but if you look, the receivers are running routes. They're keeping the eyes of the DBs on them, so you only have to worry about those 5 guys down there in the box. It was great. It's kind of, I think the disappointing part of it is it was in the grasp.
So while the Patriots were more successful in the red zone offensively, they did not improve defensively. The Bills scored on 5 straight possessions, and the Patriots have had the worst red zone defense in the NFL. Mike Vrabel is asked this question week in, week out. How do you solve those issues?
You can't hang heads when they convert a first down or a second first down. I think that's what Mike's trying to tell them. Guys, it's okay if they get a first down. We're not going to be a 3-and-out team every single game. But you can give them some yards, but we just got to button it up, make sure, hold them to the field goal, get off and make them punt, flip the field.
Well, number one, when you're playing any quarterback, let alone a Josh Allen, you can't let him extend the play with his legs. Bill would tell us every week, every quarterback is more likely to extend the play down the red area because there's not as much going on. Like, the windows are too close, things happen very quickly, and you're more likely to move to try to extend the play. So you got to take that away. That'll come up again this week against Baltimore.
All right, we'll come back with more on Patriots This Week right after this.
Patriots This Week is brought to you by Cross Insurance, official insurance broker of the New England Patriots. By DraftKings Sportsbook, the official sports betting partner of the New England Patriots. And by Sports Illustrated Tickets, 50 million sports, concerts, and theater tickets. 0 fees. Fans deserve better. Visit SITickets.com today.
Cross Insurance Player of the Week is Austin Hooper. The 6'4", 254-pound tight end is in his second season in New England, his 10th in the NFL. The 31-year-old from Stanford was a third-round pick in the 2018 draft. Hooper has been a valuable addition as both a blocker and receiver, averaging more than 13 yards per catch. The Player of the Week is brought to you by Cross Insurance, the official insurance broker of the New England Patriots.
You never know, we probably needed it. Going on a little streak is not gonna say it's a lot of pressure, but you expect to win it as you should each and every week. But you play good teams every week, and it's good for us. It's kind of said in the beginning of the year, lessons. If you don't learn nothing from it, then obviously a loss. But it's a lesson for sure. That you're gonna have to keep that foot on the gas.
Patriots receiver Stephon Diggs, 83 days and 10 straight wins for the Patriots, of course, with those comments in the wake of their first loss since week 3. We welcome you back inside the Bob's Discount Furniture studio, and a positive spin on things, and you talked about it in the first segment. Zoe, they can learn from this.
I take this from Diggs. He's reiterating whatever that head coach told him in a meeting after the game immediately, that we got to learn from this, guys, and we're not dead. And they're going to need his leadership, because I think you watch him, and we've watched him closely throughout these weeks in the sidelines and the practices. His energy is infectious. I like him. I think he's a good leader. We got to get him the ball more, because everything you throw to Diggs, he catches. Like, there's nothing where it hits his knee or pops up or goes off the hands. He sees the field well. I think Drake sees the field really well, too. They just got to get him the ball.
I look back to 2018. We had a few rough games at the end of that season, right? The Miami Miracle.
That was back-to-back, right?
Those were back-to-back.
2 losses in a row.
And I don't think any of us said, man, we kind of needed this. But when you look back in hindsight, that really was an eye-opening experience. Like, all right, fellas, we either got to fix this. That's right. We started to run the ball more. I think it makes you look yourself in the mirror and say, all right, if we want to continue this season, and we've had a great season, how do we do it? And I think in a weird way, the Patriots have to be feeling they lost the game more than Buffalo won it. And I think that's a good way to come out of that game and say, we can correct all those mistakes, and we can get better from this. It's not a loss if you don't learn from it. And I think it's a crucial time. You can reset. And I don't know about those guys, but I would be chomping at the bit to get to Sunday night.
On the outside, there's a tendency, people in my position who've never played the game, been in the locker room like you guys have, who think, oh, it's psychological, they lost their confidence. But when you watch the film and you see the reasons why right in front of you, as you go back through play-by-play, how does that put things in perspective?
I think you take the emotion out of it, right? I think there's emotion, whether it's, us, you guys are calling the game, I'm breaking it down as an analyst now. The greatest part about playing in the NFL is you get the next week, and you got to keep going. And so I think...
I mean, the mentality of driving a football 85 yards on a drive as opposed to 35, it's night and day, guys, especially when you got Josh Allen. Those quick scores, it's bang, bang, and then they got the ball to come out. Like, that's that double bang right there, and all of a sudden, it's 21-0, and it's 21-7. Oh, it's 24-7, and then bang, it goes 24-14. Oh, crap, it's 10 points.
That's right.
That's it. This is a game now.
All right, Patriots renew a conference rivalry with the Ravens on Sunday night. They see Baltimore next. We'll talk about the Ravens right after this.
All right, it's time now for your Zoe Show. We got to get back on track, baby. At Baltimore, primetime, Sunday Night Football. And what do they got? They got Lamar Jackson, they got Derrick Henry, but they got 2 really good tight ends. Mark Andrews and Lively. I love this kid, local kid. Take a look at this. Now, wait, hold on a second. Let me explain to you what Andrews is. 6'5", 255. This guy just signed a 3-year, $39 million extension. He's got over 40 catches. Over half of them have gone for first downs. That's all you need to know. 22 of them. Where's he at? Right here. This is what Baltimore does a lot. This is him. This is the other one. So what they're trying to do is create a little bit of a rub to get him here, to get him outside. Watch what they do here. And it's what Lamar loves to do. Throw the post corner. See, go to the post, go to the corner. It's a great catch by Andrews. He's one of my favorite tight ends in the league. Great receiver, frees it right here. Again, because you have a defender over him. You got to get a jam right on this guy. Make sure you hit him, knock him off, because guess where he's going? Same spot again. Go ahead and watch this. What they do is they double stack it again. Guess where he's going? Little push off. Nice gamesmanship. And of course, once they hit you there, so freeze it here, what are they going to do? Move him up here, get ready for the double rub to where they free him on the top up there. Now watch this throw right here. Watch this route. This is what Buffalo does. So coming off Buffalo week where you had Knox and Kincaid, This is a pretty good week of practice to where you got two really good sets of tight ends. So if you're the Patriots, you better find out where Mark Andrews is, and you can't forget about Lively, but I worry about Andrews. There's your Zoe Show.
Welcome back to the Bob's Discount Furniture Studio before the Patriots Sunday night affair with the Baltimore Ravens, a team in the hunt in the AFC North after a 1-5 start. Now it's 7-7, coming off a 24-0 win over Joe Burrow in Cincinnati. And Lamar Jackson, for the first time going into that game in more than a month, was not on the injury report. This is a team that's been hit hard by injuries. They're getting right.
He's still not right, but he's a completely different animal than the last quarterback you faced a week ago. I know a lot of people like to compare him because of the mobility. He can cut on a dime. He's dangerous. I think he's more dangerous with his legs than he is his arm. I think they run a compact offense with three tight ends. They're three very good tight ends, don't get me wrong. You got a challenge because you couldn't cover tight ends last week. You better be able to cover these guys this week. And they got a guy on the outside that can fly in Zay Flowers. So you have a true number two on the outside. You got a pretty damn good quarterback that can manage games if he's healthy. And the tight ends are something to watch here. And defense, they play hard and they're physical.
And they have a force of nature in the backfield that Mike Vrabel's Tennessee Titans rode to the AFC Championship game.
It's like me running a 4-4 trying to tackle him. Yeah.
No, I mean, and you think about this Ravens team, they've had such a strange year, right? Injuries to Lamar. Then he comes back, but he's really not fully healthy. And the way he plays the game, he has to be healthy. Injuries to the defense, Hamilton and Roquan Smith. And so that's where they got on that skid. But slowly but surely, guys have gotten healthy. They started chipping away. One of our old friends, Kyle Van Noy, you see his interception. He gets it. He's like, I'll just hand it to Gilman. They're starting to turn the corner at the right time. And so this is going to be a challenge because, as you mentioned, the Ravens are fighting for their season. That's what's on the line when the Patriots come to town. They're going to watch the film from Buffalo and say, okay.
How do we not give it to Derrick Henry?
Exactly. And so you got to now, the thing with Derrick Henry, as you mentioned, he's like your size running a 4.4. You have to get him to stop his feet before they get going. Because if he gets through the front seven and his legs are going, it's just too hard to bring him down. So you're going to have to pack the box, which is also dangerous because Lamar can throw it. So that they create a unique matchup for the Patriots defense.
This isn't the Ravens defense of old with Ray Lewis and Ed Reed and Terrell Suggs, but they do take the ball away. And Kyle Hamilton has become a real chess piece for Zach Ward defensively. What do the Patriots have to deal with Baltimore, even with a rash of injuries for the Baltimore defense?
I think you got to confuse them a little bit and to try and give them some personnel that they're not seeing right. Because I think if you do get up in Baltimore doesn't have the capability like Buffalo does to come back on you. That's the one thing here.
Zach Ward has that defense playing fast. They want to turn the football over. And Kyle Hamilton, he's one of those hybrid guys that moves linebacker, safety, blitzing, and coverage. So that's, I'm sure, Josh McDaniels is going to be saying, look, you got to find this guy on every play, talking to Drake May this week.
All right, we'll continue with more. Predictions are next, right after this.
Patriots This Week is brought to you by Cross Insurance, official insurance broker of the New England Patriots. By DraftKings Sportsbook, the official sports betting partner of the New England Patriots. And by Sports Illustrated Tickets, 50 million sports, concerts, and theater tickets. 0 fees. Fans deserve better. Visit SITickets.com today.
Make sure Devon A-Chain gets the start this week. The Dolphins' back has had his best season to date, and he should have a big day when a Bengals team that seems it's playing out the season comes to Miami. But keep Deebo Samuel on the sideline. The Washington receiver is averaging less than 40 yards per game, and will have a tough Saturday matchup when the Eagles fly into D.C. This week's sleeper is Kyle Pitts. The Falcons' tight end is coming off the best performance of his career with 3 TDs. Pitts should produce again this week when Atlanta heads to Arizona. This week's fantasy picks are brought to you by Verizon.
All right, the Pats are going back to Baltimore for a matchup with the 7-7 Ravens. Sunday night football game flexed out of the 1 o'clock window. Prime time, so will the Pats be ready?
We talked about it on the show. I don't think they can do much more defensively. I think with the injury issues, offense, you can fix some things. I'm going Hunter Henry is going to be the game changer in this game. Get the ball going to him, get Drake May's confidence up. 26-20 Patriots rebound and get to 12 wins.
Yeah, I agree with you, Zoe. Patriots rebound. They learned from the lessons from last week, 28-21. Travion Henderson, he's gotten better each and every week. The patience, the run schemes. I think he's your player of the game.
All right. Well, thanks so much for joining us. For Scott Zolak and Brian Hoyer, the men in black and charcoal, I'm Bob Socci saying so long. Join us next week on Patriots This Week. Bye, everybody.